Ellie's back from her trip to Japan with our SpaceX update.
Hey, Zach and Jesse. So after 3 long weeks away from home and out of the country, I'm finally back in Texas, and I'm glad that I haven't missed the next Starship launch. While there hasn't been much news regarding Starship, here are some updates. And keep in mind, most of these updates I actually get from X, or formerly known as Twitter. Eric Berger, who I will be interviewing soon, he's actually working on releasing a sequel to Liftoff, a very well-known author in the space community, posted on April 26 saying, according to NASA, SpaceX is working toward the 4th Starship flight test before the end of May, and NASA says IFT-3 was a great success. Elon responded saying full and rapid reusability of booster and ship and orbital refilling of ship are the 2 fundamental technologies we aim to solve by the end of next year. Quote, those are critical pieces necessary to make life multiplanetary. And Eric posted that according to NASA, SpaceX will perform a Starship to Starship cryogenic propellant transfer test in 2025 with this neat little diagram. So as you can see, we have the Starship Target and the Starship Chaser. So the Starship Target will launch first, receive propellant during the transfer, and it has active docking mechanisms, a passive relative navigation feature, and performs the deorbit burn. The Chaser launches second. Now this transfers the propellant to the target. It has passive docking mechanisms, has active relative navigation sensors, and performs a deorbit burn as well. So in 2024, we've already had the propellant transfer demo flight system review that was completed during the last flight. In work, we'll have the propellant transfer hardware development, and then, like I mentioned, in 2025, we hope to have that ship-to-ship propellant transfer demo. So this will be really cool to see 2 starships launched at the same time so they can meet on orbit, rendezvous, and dock the 2 starships together, transferring propellant between the 2, much like we've seen in the render. I have to say, all the Starship launches from this point, I feel like are just going to get more and more exciting as we need to meet major milestones such as catching the booster in the Mechazilla or the chopstick arms. So I'm glad that I didn't miss the 4th flight of Starship, although I may miss it depending on when it is in May because I will be traveling once again. But if you guys are curious to hear about my Japan journeys, please head over to my channel, Ellie in Space, because it was truly the best trip I've ever taken in my life. Thanks so much, Zach and Jesse, and I'll see you next week.
Thanks, Ellie. So glad you had a great trip. And Elon said congrats to SpaceX team on the 300th rocket landing. I mean, we're going to hit show 400, Elon, so maybe step it up.
I know, but they're catching up. Their launch cadence is faster than our launch cadence.
Yeah, Eric Berger said 300 rockets, 2,700 Merlin engines, 15,000 metric tons. That's a lot of recycling in less than a decade.
And Elon said amazing amount of useful work by the SpaceX team.
Elon then said Starlink now available in Micronesia. Now, can you show me on the map?
Where it is? It's right there.
Where? All I see is a dot.
Well, that's because Micronesia is really, really tiny. It's called Micronesia for a reason. For instance, Jacksonville, Florida has a total area of 2,264.5 square kilometers. That's 874.3 square miles. The Federated States of Micronesia, FSM, has a total land area of 702 square kilometers or 271 square miles. So it is
one third the size of Jacksonville, Florida?
Yes.
Wow.
So it is called Micronesia for a reason.
They really need Starlink then, I would bet.
Right, because otherwise you can only get internet from undersea cable.
Wow. Penny2X says, so humanity just needs to keep itself from doing something really stupid for a couple more years.
Elon says the critical Fermi Great Filter threshold is Mars being able to survive and grow if the resupply ships from Earth stop coming for any reason. At that point, we will be a true multi-planet civilization.
And Elon said, a booster catch attempt is highly likely this year. For the ship, we need to be sure that it will survive re-entry and retain aero control authority. So that means at least 2 successful landings at a precise point in the ocean. And remember last week when we showed you a Starlink going through a tornado? Well, how about another Starlink and another tornado? This one north of Lincoln, Nebraska from storm chaser Nick Gorman. Yeah, so I think we're going to see a lot more storm chasing going on with Starlinks.
It's crazy that it actually works during that kind of storm.
know.
I think that a lot of people just imagine that this kind of thing.
I mean, it blew over a semi truck, and but the Starlink keeps working.
Ah, man, I wish it was in Twister 2.
And SpaceX says we're working towards qualifying our fleet of Falcon boosters and fairings to support 40 missions each. Increasing Falcon's flight count provides valuable information on repeated use and critical element for making life multiplanetary with Starship. Eric Berger says, look, if you're not going to 42, you're not even trying.
And Elon said, haha, true. Challenge accepted.
Nice. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for watching Now You Know Clips.
You can watch full episodes of Tesla Time News on Tuesdays and in-depths on Fridays. Just click the link down below and head over to the Now You Know channel.